Hello everyone and welcome to another video, technically the first official video of Tangled Reverie, where threads and thoughts entwine. In today's video, I want to talk to you about the notion of imperfection, specifically when it comes to handmade or handcrafted creations. Now, as every crafter knows, every creation, every piece we make has an imperfection. And truth to be told, these imperfections are known to the creators, but only very skilled eyes can spot them. So let me show you. This is the piece I'm working on now, okay? This, just in case you want to know, it will become a long scarf, triangular scarf to wear on top of your clothes or whoever will take it. And there is an imperfection. Can you spot the imperfection? Well, pause your video if you need to, and then leave a comment if you want under the video and tell me if you spotted the imperfection. I'm telling you again, very few people can. Now, let me tell you the tradition of such imperfections. And I will talk to you about a myth because historically, lessons, moral lessons, were passed down to humans through oral traditions, and these were mythical stories. So we will travel to ancient Greece and the myth of Arachne, which you know as spider. So the myth has it that Arachne was a young woman from very humble origins, but she was exceptionally good in handcrafting, specifically in looming. Now, as you can see, I don't do looming, at least not at the moment. Hopefully I will in the future. But for now, let's go back to the myth. So she was very good in looming. And unfortunately for her, she was also very arrogant or very proud about her creations. So she will talk with other young women. Now, remember, back then, crafting was not a matter of hobby, okay? It was a skill that every woman had. Every woman was learning from young age because this was the only way for a family to have clothes. So she would talk with other girls and she will brag about how amazing she is. And she reached to the point to say that she is better than goddess Athena. Now, goddess Athena, she was, among other things, the protector of arts, which semiologically teaches us that making clothes, making fabric, since the ancient times, was a form of art, while it was also, a daily skill. Anyway, goddess Athena, of course, heard the young woman. So what did she do? What ancient gods loved doing. I mean, ancient Greek gods. She took the form of an elderly woman and approached Arachne, the young woman. Arachne was in one more such conversation about how amazing she is and how she's better than goddess Athena. And then goddess, in the form of the elderly woman, told her, hey girl, you shouldn't brag. You shouldn't compete with gods because this is disrespectful. No, Arachne did not agree. So she insisted and she said, Not only I am better than goddess Athena, but I challenge her. If she is listening to me, I want her to present herself in front of me, and I challenge her to a competition. Well, one thing I need to tell you about goddess Athena was that she was not the most patient of the gods. So what did she do? She took her real form, her divine form, presented herself in front of Arachne, and said, I accept the challenge. So the two females, the mortal and the goddess, started weaving. They were weaving a tapestry each. Arachne was weaving on her tapestry the wrongdoings and the injustices that the ancient Greek gods were practicing. Now, if you're not familiar with ancient Greek mythology, yeah, ancient Greek gods were quite famous for their injustices and their wrongdoings. Goddess Athena, on the other hand, she was um, depicting on her tapestry the punishments that mortals receive when they challenge or they disrespect the gods, the ancient Greek gods. Now, when the competition was over, truth to be told, Arachne's tapestry was better than Goddess Athena's. However, the goddess is more powerful. So Athena cursed Arachne and turned her into an insect, the insect that we all know today as spider in English. In the Greek language, it's still called Arachne, and cursed her to always weave non-stop by being hanged from her own, you can say, net or cord. And that was the story of Arachne. Is it a fair story? No, it isn't. But there is a lesson there. Do not challenge, do not disrespect the divine. Since then, every weaver and every person that creates something with their own hands, at least, I'm sorry, at least in ancient Greece, made it a habit to intentionally either make a mistake or leave a mistake on their work as a sign of humbleness, as a sign of the limitations that we mortals have. Later on, when the ancient gods were abandoned and more modern or contemporary religions were adopted, still in some of these religions, the notion that perfection belongs only to the divine is still there, which also makes artisans allow imperfections in their work. Now, how does that fit in today's world where everyone aims for perfection? Everyone, and I mean everyone. I mean, think what happens in the supermarkets, where vegetables need to be perfect in aim to be sold, otherwise they're being rejected. Unfortunately, we live in an era of madness and corruption. And this notion of perfection has been imposed on us. And with this, I think I will leave you for today. You learned why and how artisans either create consciously or allow imperfections in our works. However, the notion of imperfection, at least on how we perceive it today in our era, is something that I will expand in the next video. So, well, I will talk to you about, oops, you see, I just made a mistake. I missed the beat. Will I correct this mistake? Yes. We said we allow one imperfection. The whole result needs to be pleasant to the eye. So that is all for this video for today. In the next video, I'm not sure when I will publish it, maybe in a week, I will expand on the notion of perfection and imperfection and how arts in general, but fiber arts that I love so much, how can they teach us about living peacefully and in harmony with our mortality? But this in the next video. For now, from Tangled Reverie, have a lovely rest of the day or of the night, and I shall see you in the next video. In the meantime, if you like the content, like, subscribe, share, and find us in the rest of our social media so that our company can grow. That is all for me for now. Until the next time, have a peaceful and slow life.